this is YEEZUS, and we're going to start right now. So, YEEZUS by Kanye West. I forget the year it came out, but it is a piece of art. It's groundbreaking, it's polarizing, and it's gender defining. It's not hip hop. It is hip hop, but it's not hip hop. Like, there's hip hop elements, obviously, but it's not exclusively a hip hop album. And this is why it was received quite, what do you call it? Mixed, I guess? It had mixed received. But you know, on Google, it has about 4.7 out of 5. That's what I just saw before. And that's not right. There should be 5 out of 5, but 4.7 out of 5. Pretty much tells you it's a fucking great album. It's carefully curated, defined, redefining hip-hop, basically. Showcasing Kanye's boldness in production, thematic exploration, and unorthodox structure. YEEZUS is a piece of art. It doesn't work as a track-by-track album, in my opinion. It should have just been released as a 30-minute track, one track. Just one track, 30 minutes, I think, because then it'll make people just listen to it the whole thing. Because if you listen to it song by song, especially like the middle part, it's going to be a bit weird. It's meant like every song complements the next song, and then as a whole cohesive piece. And that's how Rick Rubin made it. So Rick Rubin reduced it. Like he didn't produce it. He reduced it. He reduced it from 3.5 hours to 30 minutes on the dot. 30 minutes. What a fucking genius. Rick Rubin did a fantastic job at producing it and reducing it. So we'll talk about that later. But then I'm gonna say both sides. And if you hate Kanye West, I'd love you to come on the stream and tell me why you think this album sucks. Because we could have a debate about why. I'll just cut down everything you say. I'll cut it. You know, you won't win the debate, but you can try. So it wasn't really well received by the black community either. I can't understand why, but I'll get into that later as well. But the overall gets a 4.7 out of 5 at Google, so it's should be 5 out of 5. I'm gonna show you a clip from SNL when he performed for the promotion of this album, I guess. And that was the last time he ever performed in SNL, and last time he was invited back because he does show some pictures that are pretty controversial in the background of his show, and he was never asked back. He shows pictures of the Ku Klux Klan, but they're in black suits instead of white suits. Like, oh my god, that's so. It's not even that big a deal. And he has the 3 barking dogs from hell. You know, that three-headed dog that you'd see if you're when you're into hell. And he's just saying hell is consumerism, hell is corporations, hell is money. You know, it's a typical political statement, and we all know it's true. So why would he be censored for that? It's just stupid. He actually also samples the drums from Marilyn Manson's "Beautiful People" in this performance. His performance is so fucking good. I have to show you, because if you don't like Kanye West yet, or you don't like YEEZUS, or you don't you don't get Kanye West yet, maybe this will help you get him, or it might further confuse you, one or the other. We'll see. Okay, so basically, that performance obviously was not a hip-hop performance. This wasn't a hip-hop performance. You notice it probably was more of a punk performance, and this is where the issue with the black community laid. That's where it laid, because I don't know what that was. It's why would black people be oh, you're black, you should be doing hip-hop? It's why should you be doing anything? He's just doing music. He's making music. He loves music. And it was a 3.5 hour album before Rick Rubin got to it. So the community's issue with this album was it wasn't a hip hop album. So racist. So I believe that it really hurt Kanye when the black community didn't accept this album, because he worked really hard on it. And he cared what the black community think. Obviously he's black, but they didn't accept it. There's a lot of interviews where he's fighting people on it. I'm going to play a little bit of one of those interviews. This interview is with the Apple Music guy who's from New Zealand, who is friends with everyone. Everyone's really nice, likes him. I don't know why though. It's almost like they all know him personally, but every one of them. Stop doing that, bitch. Stop. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't get the whole. I think it just maybe suck up to him with Apple Music and Apple Music rule the world. So he's interviewing Kanye West, and Kanye West is kind of just talking about how the album's been received and why maybe it has negative reciprocation, is that a word, by the black community and also, well, mainly the black media. The black media. And that's a bit different to the black community. The black media has agendas. And the agenda could have been, hey, you're not fitting into the bubble that we want you to fit into. So you're saying things that could start a revolution or whatever. So they might have been trying to like downplay that for the black community, because the black community is ready for revolution, obviously. And they wanted BLM to be the revolution because BLM was going to make the money. Black Lives Matter, that is. Maybe that's why they shut him down, because they knew that was coming. I don't know. So that's all his theories, but they weren't happy with it. He had a lot of fights with the black community, but this is a white guy interviewing him, and he was actually he was complimenting it, but Kanye West wasn't really receiving that well. But because he's trying to defend himself against the black community at the same time. And when he was interviewed by white people, he's a little bit weird. He doesn't let them talk very much. He's very dismissive of them. I'm not sure why he does that. I guess because I don't know. I'm not sure. I kind of like it, to be honest with you.
Music. People go on a vacation and say, you got the drugs, you got the music, you got the wine, you got the, it's like, it's in that territory. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to speak up and say, okay, so my voice is only compressed to express myself artistically through music. It's the only place where I actually have a deal. So I can only consistently make things in music. So I'm going to take music and I'm going to try to make it three-dimensional, on Star Wars, and the hologram will pop up out of R2-D2. I'm going to try to make something that jumps up and affects you in a good or bad way. Yeah. Whether it's I'm going into a scream in the middle of the track because that's just the way I feel. Yeah. But I'm not here to make easy listening, easy programmable music.
No, you're so off the reservation on this album in the best possible way. Yeah. I mean, like you talked about, the way that you use your voice in different ways. You don't rely on conventional rhyming flows. Your flows. I mean, the opening line, "YEEZUS season approaching." A monster's awoken. Like you're laying it out there. This isn't my beautiful dark twisted fantasy part 2. I'm wiling out on this record straight away. Yeah. And then from nowhere as well, we just get treated to these wonderful moments where, like you say, it's almost like a...
Zane Lowe at this point is trying too hard. I think he's just a bit scared, to be honest. Which is understandable, but what Kanye is saying is people may be offended by his volatility, but they're so wrapped up in being offended that they don't actually catch the actual message that's being portrayed to them, which is, you can do this. You, an individual who is listening to this music that I'm making and hating it, actually needs to understand that this music is actually here to empower you, to know that you can do this. We can do this as the people. We don't need the government. We don't need the government when it comes to social issues. This is what he's saying. He's making music to say that to people. And in order to get it through their thick heads, you've got to be aggressive. But then, unfortunately, I don't think any way you say this could get through to anyone who doesn't want to hear it. Because no one wants to hear that they're being controlled. No one wants to actually admit to that or feel like they're not free or whatever. None of us are free. Because we're really not freedom means anymore. Because that's how much we're being controlled. That's all Kanye is saying. Because he understands this. Why he understands this, why I understand this, and why others don't, I don't know.
Like you're sitting here going, you know what, why can't I go into this?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you can.
You can. Well, you did. Yeah, it's true.
It's like a car crash. You can just be driving
out of nowhere,
and just out of nowhere that happens.
Yeah. At what point did that kind of very deliberate feel to the record, whereby breaks come in and join these really discordant electronic moments, and everything seems to exist in this kind of very contradictory, but it works kind of way? At what point did that start to take shape? Because it is very, omnipresent through the record as a whole. The way it flips between one and the other. Was that in your head early on, or did that come towards the end when you started to reduce the record?
Well, I didn't reduce it. Rick Rubin reduced it. He's not a producer.
My only one criticism of Kanye West in associating this album is his lack of gradation to Rick Rubin for his part in it. But maybe that was something that he and Rick Rubin wanted to happen. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. Rick Rubin is a pretty mellow guy, and he doesn't necessarily like the glory. He doesn't need it. He's done so much in his life. I guess he takes a backseat these days. So I guess it works for those two, and it does because they're good friends, so obviously it does work. But I would have liked because I mean, when I think about this album now, I think about it as a Kanye West and Rick Rubin album. I don't think about this as a Kanye West album, because without Rick Rubin, it would never have become an album in the first place, in my opinion. Not in my opinion, like, it wouldn't have. It would have just sat there and it would have just been nothing. It wouldn't have ever got released without Rick Rubin. And that would have been really sad, because it's my favorite album ever.
A celebrity. So basically what's going to happen is there's product here. And this is where you end up, right here. If you can communicate this product, you can make money off the product. Because look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras? So it becomes all of this thing where all of the musicians try to get more money by promoting other products.
He's explaining here why he made that, why he started the whole Jewish media, Jewish lawyers, like, kill them because, like, I hate them. He's pretty much talking about them again, like, here now. This is like 10 years prior to that Jewish situation. It's just always been an issue for him, and I think it's been an issue for a lot of people who enter the industry who don't have any money, who are coerced into doing things that they don't really want to do, just to get to be to the point where they are doing things they want to do, and there's no other option. And these Jewish lawyers and whoever else they are, I guess he implies they're Jewish, trap you, and then they get you into contracts and you can't get out of them, and then suddenly, Lady Gaga's doing Polaroid ads instead of making music. And what the fuck is that about? Like, why would she waste her time? She's finally made it. She's got all these fans, and she's wasting her time doing Polaroid ads. What the fuck does Gaga know about cameras? As he said. Perfectly worded. It's a trap. And he's just expressing his absolutely insanely honest opinion on what happens when a man like him enters the industry. Dave Chappelle has also explained this happened to him as well, in a lot less aggressive way, but he's done it. Like, you can look on YouTube. He talks about how he got a show stolen off him, and he could do shit all about it because he signed the fucking contract at the beginning of his career when he needed the money, and that's it. Boom, you're trapped. Like, the traps aren't in Atlanta, in the ghettos in Atlanta. The traps are fucking in Hollywood, with the Jewish lawyers and the Jews, like, ready to manipulate you out of your money. And I heard a Jewish guy go, it's the thing in Hollywood, you say, like, you Jews, like, it's true, they are all Jewish, and it's not anti-Semitic, it's just that they are all Jewish. It's just a fact. He was just saying that they're Jewish. I mean, if they're Christian, would he say they're Christian? I don't know. If he did, would it be a big deal? Probably not.
It sounds like there's hits on the album to me. But it sounds like there's hits that's distracted by the statements, fuck you and your corporation, y'all niggas can't control me, on the first single.
Yeah. I mean, this to me sounds like a radio hit where I'm coming from. But you said yourself at the start, you made a record that was built out of frustration, and that you were trying to create cracks in the pavement. I like that description more than you made an album full of radio hits. As a Kanye West fan, I don't, turn to your album.
I never described it as an album full of radio hits.
No. But I'm saying, like, I'd prefer than you to describe it as cracks in the pavement than to have made a record just full of radio hits. You know what I mean? I want to hear where you're at.
Pause it. That song is a hit song minus the line, fuck you and your corporation, y'all niggas can't control me, on your first single.
I think it's a great record.
But you ain't hear what I'm saying.
Go on.
That song's a hit record minus fuck you and your corporation, y'all niggas can't control me, said on your first single. Because if you can't control me, then you can't control him, then you can't control him, then you can't control him, and then the information age starts.
Is it that people just don't want to hear this message? They don't want to hear it from a black man, they don't want to hear it from a metal band, they don't want to hear it from music, or they just don't want to hear it, because admitting that we have the power to not be controlled is admitting that we are controlled. For some reason, the West has a real big issue in admitting that we are being controlled, as much as Russia is, as much as North Korea is, as much as any oppressive, as media calls them, regimes that isn't Australia. Yet, we probably are equally oppressive, if not more. And we only have the illusion of freedom in these countries, which is even worse, because that kind of manipulation never has an end, because we don't know that there is an end to be had, because we don't even know we're in anything in the first place. They're throwing contracts at me, a nigga can't read. Love that line. They're throwing contracts at me, a nigga can't read. What a fucking line. And so a lot of this, okay, so we're going to get into the next part of the review, which is Rick Rubin's influence of the album. So Rick Rubin, Kanye's got 3.5 hours worth of music that he's made in France, in Paris, mainly with one of the guys from Daft Punk. He worked with the first song on this album, which is like just fucking synth, man. It's just like straight away. Apparently the synth was just like a big wall. Like it's a huge synthesizer that he brought in. And you can tell like it sounds dirty, it sounds gritty, it's just a huge sound. And whenever I play this album, just randomly when like in somewhere and I'm playing an album, people never know it's Kanye West. They're like, what's this? Who's this? I'm like, Kanye West, like what? Because it doesn't sound like Kanye West. It doesn't sound like hip hop. And then they're waiting for a hip hop track. But Kanye West has never been that hip hop, He's been hip hop, but like he's never been like a 101 hip hop, that's for sure. It's always been influenced by lots of different things. And this one's just totally, it's just fucking fun. It's a fun album. And Rick Rubin is the savior of that kind of, like he didn't make any of the music, he didn't write any of the lyrics, but the production of it and the editing of it, which is, makes or breaks a movie, makes or breaks an album. He fucking kills it. And he had about 5 days to do it, I think it was 5 days he had to do this. And in 2 of the days, Kanye West couldn't be there because he had some like baby shower or something because his kid was being born. So 2 of the days he's not there, and Rick Rubin's like freaking out, going, "What's not gonna happen? This is not gonna happen." And Kanye's like, "It's gonna happen. Like, don't worry, it's gonna happen." He's like very confident. And I think for like half of the album, he hadn't even written lyrics yet. So he comes in on like 2 days he got off, which is part of the 5 days. So we got like 24 hours to get this album out. He's writing lyrics like 24 hours before. Rick Rubin's just like, this is fucked up. And they did it. Rick Rubin and Kanye West pulled it off. And what a dynamic duo. If you agree with anything, if you don't agree with anything, let's address that. Let's have a chat now.